What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show, the MMA podcast. We are back as per usual, and we got some crazy stuff. So we have our topic list today, but there was some news that came out, something that happened that I had no idea of until this morning. The video, I think, came out like 6 hours ago, but I didn't see this. So this topic number 2 that we're going to start right off the rip with, this was about Tom Aspinall completes his double eye surgery. What's next for him? Well, what's next is he might be out of the UFC. So I want to show you guys this video. This is absolutely crazy. And then Justin and I are going to talk about it. There's definitely a big silver lining, though, here. There's something that if this does happen, if he actually is not only just vacating, but leaving the UFC, there's some very interesting things that might be happening. So check this out.
Aspinall recently underwent another surgery on both eyes, further delaying his return to the octagon. Rumors quickly began circulating that he could be stripped of the heavyweight title if he doesn't compete soon. Now, more details have emerged. Former UFC veteran Josh Thompson revealed that the promotion reportedly asked Aspinall to vacate the title, while Aspinall, in turn, requested his release from the organization.
The UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. He said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him. Now, that opens the door so he can go ahead and box. This is a really weird situation. The heavyweight division is just a total show right now. And it's been a shit show since the John Jones coming in, not wanting to fight, the interim champion, which was Tom Aspinall at the time, and then fighting Stipe. No disrespect to Stipe, but it was just John had something in mind. And the UFC didn't squash that. They allowed that fight to happen. And it just led into this thing where the heavyweight division's been on hold since the John Jones debacle, I guess you would call it. Bottom line is, Jailton Almeida is gone. Okay, they just released him. Tom Aspinall, if he is gone, John Jones doesn't seem like he's coming back, especially not to the heavyweight division. We have a mess. We have a disaster on our hands. The heavyweight division and the 205-pound division, the light heavyweight division, both weight classes are the worst that they've ever been. And these used to be the pillars. This used to be what would carry the promotion. When the merger of Strikeforce and the UFC happened, the heavyweight division was the strongest it had ever been. And the light heavyweight division, honestly, UFC was built off of the light heavyweight division. This is wild to me, man. 135, 145, 155, and 170 right now are carrying the sport of MMA and definitely carrying the UFC. More to come.
Meanwhile, MMA reporter Ruben Carter reported that John Jones and Alex Pereira are slated to fight for the undisputed heavyweight title at UFC White House. Followed up with, "From my understanding, Tom Aspinall has not only vacated his title, but he has also been exiled from the UFC roster by mutual agreement. The UFC wanted him to vacate and he said he will, but only if they release him from the contract so he can go and box. Make sure you bookmark this tweet and return when I'm proven right by Baldy." According to Carter, Pereira will vacate his light heavyweight title and Yuri Prohaska and Carlos Ulberg will fight for the undisputed title at UFC 327 in Miami, Florida. Pereira seemingly confirmed the rumors by posting on Instagram with the caption, "1, 2, 3, and go," likely hinting at winning belts in 3 divisions. Pereira has also captured UFC titles at 185 and 205 pounds, and now appears set to chase the heavyweight belt. What do you guys make of these rumors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Dude.
It's all speculation, though. There's no weight to it. Speculation. The guy's even saying it's speculation. He's like, what if? He says that throughout the video. And I mean, if it's possible, yeah, then I think we should talk about it. But yeah, I mean, dude, it sounds like this guy, another piece to the heavyweight division, besides being the most lackluster, it's the easiest. If you want to get to the UFC, just go to the heavyweight division. Like there's no talent in the heavyweight division. I've made literally 2 videos about it. I think I made a video about it 2 days ago. And regardless to the no talent, but yeah, absolutely, John Jones fucked this heavyweight division up, and Tom Aspinall, man, I'm curious to see what's true and what's not true. This could be clickbait because he says throughout the video, like, what if, and it's like, wait a second, I took this video as factual immediately, so I hope that doesn't happen because Tom Aspinall is a pillar to the heavyweight division right now, and he's probably the only guy that some people want to see fight. So to just exile him from the whole promotion from a business standpoint, I mean, you're a businessman, but we talk about the UFC wanting to show power and how they how they don't need anybody. Look how they got rid of Francis Ngannou. I'd say for the heavyweight division, let steroids become legal again and get these freaks of nature like Alistair Overeem back in there, and not Vitor Belfort wasn't a heavyweight, but remember how intimidating, how awesome he used to look. Like, let steroids be legal and let these guys fucking get good physiques and come in here and impress people, because absolutely, I mean, you look at that Tai Tuivasa's last fight. I don't even know the guy who fought. Like, man, that was terrible, man. Like, that was. I mean, I'm a big Tai Tuivasa fan, man, and that was a shame. Like, he has to knock him out here, and he's trying to go over under position with him and rest when there's 30 seconds left instead of just going for it. And he can't go for it because he's too fat and he's too out of shape, and the heavyweight division fucking sucks.
Okay, so I have some interesting takes on this, actually, and yes, these are rumors, by the way, everybody. So all of that was speculation from that MMA reporter Aaron, whatever his last name was, but or Ruben or whatever. But then you also have Josh Thompson. So I think there might be something to this. We're going to talk about it in a second. Let me just run through. We got a bunch of comments. So Tehran says, shaking my head. Tom gets, but Jones gets to hold it up for months. Western says, what the F? Yep. And that's ridiculous. They want to strip Tom of the belt, but let Jones hold up the division for months. Of course, it's not, there is going to be special treatment for these guys. That's just, John Jones is John Jones. Like, so I'm not blown away so much by that double standard. I would have expected that. Jailton Almeida should not have been released, Tehran says. Unbelievable. Okay. And you're asking who's Ulberg fighting? He's going to be fighting Yuri Prohaska, if this is all true. But let me jump back for a second. So yes, these are rumors. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but it does make sense. Okay, because there's a lot of corroborating factors. First of all, where Josh Thompson is usually not somebody to just spout off and
Sure.
make up nonsense. So I have to believe that was a real conversation, that where they asked it, because he just had eye surgery, dude. He still hasn't even trained at all, and he still probably can't train for another 4 weeks. That's what I don't know so much about eye surgery, but I know Bilal Muhammad.
Well, he probably can't spar. He probably can't spar for 4 weeks. He might still be able to do other things, or is it just totally negating from training in general? Can't jog, can't do anything.
This is what Bilal Muhammad said. He said, when you have eye surgery, he's like, afterwards, you can't do anything because any movement can jostle the eyes. And so you're literally just like stuck on the couch. So my guess is he's probably literally just sitting there, maybe not even able to lift weights right now. It depends on the severity of or the seriousness of the surgery. And he hasn't divulged that, but there's a good chance that he's still sitting idle for a while. Then we have to see how the eyes recover. Then he has to start training before he can even get back into a training camp. So it's going to be a long runway. So the UFC asked him to vacate. It actually makes sense to try and open up the division to get something maybe slated for the White House or before or after, somewhere around that timeline. So that makes sense. Then why is Alex Pereira posting 1, 2, 3, go? Like, for sure, he's talking about the 3 getting a third belt. So that makes sense. Alex Pereira is not coming up. I don't think anyways. He's not going to come up just to fight Tom Aspinall. He said he very specifically wants the John Jones fight. So for the UFC now to basically be saying, all right, you got to vacate, and he's refusing, I think they will release Tom Aspinall. And it does kind of suck because, yeah, we do want to see Tom Aspinall fight. But I am kind of excited because this is the super fight that I wanted. If this is really real, to see Alex Pereira versus John Jones on the White House card, I think it's what the UFC should do. Honestly, especially now, if they've asked Tom and Tom's just like, no, screw it. I just want to be released. I hate to say it. And maybe Tom will come back one day. I don't know. But I think this is the fight that needs to headline the UFC White House card. I know you're not the biggest fan of John Jones, given some, different things that have happened, but like, don't you think ultimately we have the greatest fighter of all time versus Alex Pereira, who's a double champ, who's one of the most beloved fighters of all time, going in there to headline the White House card? Isn't that perfect if it does work out this way? No?
I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I'll tune in for the fight, but I mean, John Jones, regardless of his controversy of drug use and being not a good person or this or that, I don't care about that stuff. All right, that's not why I don't like John Jones. I'm very advocate about it. I think all steroids should be legal. So that, like, when people talk about John Jones, oh my God, he did drugs, he did this. Guess what? Everyone's doing them. He got caught. All right, so let's just get that out of there right away. What I don't like about John Jones is what he's done with this heavyweight division. Just like that reporter said, like, he's held it up. He's dangled the belt right in front of the whole division. We have to fight for interim championships, and then he comes back and he fights one time. Like, he's just not deserving. Now, if this fight was 5 years ago when he's in the middle of his debacle and trying to come back and fight and do this and do that, after he fought Dominic Reyes, which was an incredible fight, after he fought Anthony Smith, which was an incredible fight. At this time, he was deserving, but he's just not deserving anymore. And we can say that Alex Pereira is, but he's going up 3 weight classes to fight arguably the greatest washed up GOAT of all time. Like, it's just John's not in his prime anymore, man. He's not the same John Jones that he used to be. He's the John Jones that's going to go 4 rounds with Stipe. Like, it's Stipe. There's nothing impressive about Stipe, not anymore, at least. I mean, he's in his 40s. He openly said in his post-fight interview that he didn't even want to fight. Like, and John Jones went, what do you go, 3 rounds with him, 4 rounds with him? Like, come
I think
on,
it was
man. Like,
three rounds. Yeah.
3 rounds against a 40. I think he's 43. Teron, you'll be able to tell me exactly. Probably 43-year-old, washed up, a guy that just got knocked out in his last fight brutally. That openly says he didn't even want to fight, and he still lasted 3 rounds. Like, come on, John. Like, you're set up to win, just like with Cyril Gane. Like, you're set up. You're a great MMA fighter. Cyril Gane's a great striker. You just go in there and you sub him in a guillotine. Like, who gets subbed in a guillotine in 30 seconds? And people are like, oh, it's because John's so good. It's like, I don't care how good you are. I'm not getting subbed in a guillotine by 30 seconds to anybody, including, in my opinion, one of the greatest MMA grapplers in the world, Jake Shields. Jake Shields would be lucky to hit a guillotine on me, once or twice in 5 minutes, let alone the first 30 seconds. And John's known for how good his guillotine is. Remember when he fought Lyoto Machida and he put him to sleep in a guillotine? Like, that's his move. How do you get hit in that in the first round? Like, it was pathetic.
Well, I mean, when I see how well Cyril Gane did against Tom Aspinall and how he was beating him, in my opinion, in round 1, I don't know. I feel like that victory should get a little bit more credibility. Also, like, I know you mentioned about Stipe, being a little bit on the older side, but I think Stipe actually, I don't know, man. I think he looked pretty good.
What other submission has John Jones hit on a regular basis throughout his career in the UFC?
You know what? I'd have to go back and look and see.
I'm going to tell you, and I might be wrong, but I can't think of any other submissions that he's ever hit besides a guillotine choke.
Okay, let me actually look at that. I want to see. I can't.
And you're going to go in there and fight John Jones and get hit in a guillotine choke in 30 seconds and do nothing proper to defend against it, because his reaction, it looked like he hadn't been in that position ever in his career, ever in training. And you're going to go against John Jones, whose best move is guillotine. Like, it's just stupid. And it was pathetic. I thought the win was pathetic, and, going against a guy that's coming up 3 weight classes. Like, and I don't know. It's just a stupid.
Wait,
I guess everyone's going to see it as a win-win because, John Jones beats a guy that's coming up 3 weight classes, that's going for greatness, that, you have like Israel Adesanya that went for greatness, went up a weight class and just got fucking smashed.
By the way, he did beat Rampage with a rear naked choke. So, but you're right. There's so many the guillotine submissions on his record. That's wild.
Like, come on, man. Like, I am a low-level caliber UFC fighter, and I recognize that right. That was the first thing I recognized. Like, and we talked about it on the show. He didn't do anything right to defend. He didn't fight the hands. He didn't try to roll. He literally went to a knee and just like looked up the clock, up, tap, tap. Like, this motherfucker, are you serious? And people are impressed by that? Get the fuck out of here. Like I said, me and Jake Shields and Patchy Mix have an incredible guillotine. It's one of the best in the world. I am not getting a hit unless I dive in for a double and intentionally want to get hit in one to try to fight out of it for practice. I'm not getting guillotined. And how does he get guillotined? It's amazing. It's not because John Jones is just so good. That's not it.
Okay, fair enough, man. You kind of took the air out of my sails a little bit in terms of this. I know,
but what I'm saying makes sense, though, right? What's been impressive about John Jones? His last 2 credible wins were against Anthony Smith, who, look how that turned out, and Dominic Reyes, and look how that turned out. Like, these guys were had a great run, but I mean, are they, uber caliber?
But Cyril Gane is of the highest caliber. I mean, look what he was doing.
And that just goes to show how weak the heavyweight division is. You're right. Cyril Gane is the top of the heavyweight division, and look how bad he is. Like, if it's a kickboxing match, he's incredible. But again, how do you get subbed by the number 1 submission of an opponent? I mean, we watch film when we're getting ready for a fight. We watch film, and John's been around since like 2007 or 2000, that's the early 2000 era or the late 2010 era. I think 2007 was his UFC debut. You've watched all his fights. You've been a fan of him growing up, seen him do a guillotine after guillotine, and then you get hit in a guillotine. Like, what is this guy's coaching staff like? He's fucking terrible.
Okay, fine, but let's talk about John for a second. Granted, fine, he didn't go against the most craziest competition against Stipe, but you have to admit at least, like, it's not like John is terrible now. Like, John looked still great against Stipe. Maybe you could say he looked good against Stipe because Stipe was a little bit older, but don't you think he still got it and he's still looking pretty sharp?
No,
Really?
I mean, here's the biggest takeaway from that. Here's the
Okay.
biggest takeaway from that. Stipe said in his post-fight interview, "I did not even want to take this fight."
Yeah, he did say that. I remember that.
He's 43 years old. And trust me, there's been fights throughout my career that I don't want to take, that I'm doing it because of circumstance. My last Tough Enough fight, like, my opponent got changed, everything got flipped upside down, like the last week of, I started questioning whether I wanted to take this fight or not. Like, you're not going to fight to your best of your ability. And more importantly, not only are you not going to fight to your, but let's say Stipe's ability's here right now. We'll say here's the top, and he's like in mid ground. By him saying he doesn't want to fight, that means his training and preparation dropped even more. So now, in my opinion, he's a bottom tier heavyweight, not because of what he's done, not because of what he's capable of, because of his motivation, meaning that he's probably not dieting properly. He's probably not sparring properly, because when you don't want to get hit, the reason you don't want to take a fight is because you don't want to get hurt. So what does that tell you about your training? You think he went in there and banged it out in all his training sessions? No, he probably took sparring off and probably just did mid sessions. And I'm guilty of it. Like, I've had these feelings where it's like, oh, I don't want to take damage in this fight. I'm going to stop sparring as hard or this or that. And it's like, dude, no, he was a lower tier Stipe, and he was a lower tier heavyweight at the time. And it was pathetic that he lasted even 3 or 4 rounds.
Okay, last question on this, and then I'm going to go through. I see we got a lot of comments. I'm going to read them in 1 second, but last question on this. Will you be impressed if John Jones beats Alex Pereira?
I mean, again, what's impressive about it, man? Alex Pereira is not known for his grappling. He's not known for his wrestling. It's great that I would be much more impressed if Alex Pereira beat up washed up John Jones, just because of the size discrepancy, just because of the legend discrepancy. John Jones is an MMA fighter. He's not a kickboxer. Alex Pereira is a kickboxer transitioning to MMA. Those are two different titles. When you've been wrestling and grappling for 25 years or 30 years, because I think he's 35,
John
compared
Jones,
to
30,
Alex Pereira, who's
yeah.
been grappling for, we'll say, 5 years. Like, it's just uncomparable. And I'm not saying Alex Pereira, and that's why it'd be just so much more impressive if Alex went in there, stuffed some takedowns, and like that would be 10 times more impressive than John Jones beating up a high level kickboxer and a above average MMA fighter.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, I everything you're saying is facts, so I get it. I'm trying not to let my excitement wane because this is the fight that I've been wanting, and I'll pitch it to you guys like this.
Hold on, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje is the fight to make. Plain and simple. Justin Gaethje has showed up 15 times in a row, 15 performance bonuses. He's made his way back to the interim championship. They can have an awesome press conference. Ilia Topuria is going to be coming back, talking shit. Justin's red hot after beating the fuck out of Paddy Pimblett. Like, this is good. This is the fan. There's no bullshit drama. This is just 100% guaranteed to be a great fight. And Alex Pereira and John Jones could end up a standoff because either guy are too engaged to engage with the other. There's too much respect. Justin Gaethje doesn't give a fuck who he fights. He's walking him down. He's going to try to knock him out, and he'll get knocked out in the process. And neither John Jones or Alex are like that.
I'm with you. Like, that fight will be on there. Maybe it'll be co-main to John Jones versus Alex Pereira. I don't know, but let me end on this. I get you. And by the way, we got somebody new in the mix. Great name. I'm not going to say it, but let's go. Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? But coming back to this, the one thing I will say to end on is the way that I thought it could be perfectly beautifully marketed is the GOAT, the battle of the GOATs, right? If Alex Pereira, as you mentioned, you would be impressed if Alex Pereira beats John Jones. That could happen. If Alex Pereira beats John Jones, he will go down in most people's mind as the greatest fighter of all time. Done. If John Jones beats Alex Pereira, he's going to further cement his legacy. We're going to end with an American champ, the American greatest of all time, probably retiring thereafter. And that's going to be a beautiful send-off for the White House card, which is also tied into the 250th celebration of America. So for me, that's an incredible main event. We could have Gaethje versus Ilia as the co-main. Maybe Connor's in there somewhere. But anyways, that's like the last thing I'll say. But yeah, go ahead. Do you want to respond?
Yeah, and people aren't going to like what I have to say here, and you might not like it either, but perfect send-off, one of the most controversial MMA fighters of all time in front of the biggest pedophilia biggest pedophilia scandal of all time. I mean, that's the only thing that even makes sense. I mean, you sold me.
Just FYI, don't say that word. We can't say that on YouTube.
Excuse me, the biggest scandal in the
yeah.
history of the American, in the history of America, man, and against one of the biggest, John Jones is an incredible fighter, but he's not somebody that you want to mentor yourself at. It's just like politics right now, man. So I guess it works out perfect.
Well, we shall see, I guess, how this unfolds. I just saw it this morning. I'm like, this is crazy news. They're actually going to release potentially Tom Aspinall. Like, that's wild. All right, we got a couple comments here. By the way, Western says Yuri will smoke Ulberg. Yeah, he might. I mean, I don't know. Ulberg looked good in the last fight, but we shall see. It's a great fight. If they do
that
make
check left hook is awesome.
Dude, it's going to be a great vacant main. Dude, it's a great main event for that title if it's going to be for the title. Yes, I've seen the Buckley Terrence Crawford beef. I think like I made a video roughly talking about it. I didn't actually show Buckley's video on it or topic on it, but yeah, the main thing stemmed over this debate of like, oh, the boxers are way more skilled, which I responded to. You guys can see that video. It's actually doing pretty good in the views right now, but yeah, it's just like a dumb take from it was less Terrence Crawford. It was the other guy. I'm blanking on his name right now. The other boxer that was talking to me. UFC will never be bigger or better than boxing. Never, ever. It's like, dude, it already is. I hate to say it. I can see it in the younger generation. MMA is the truth. That's what it is. That's why it's better, because MMA is real deal self-defense. It's real deal how to beat some. If you need to attack somebody or defend yourself, that's what you use, not boxing. Yes, there's elements of boxing that in certain, it depends on how close you are to somebody and what you're strongest with, where you will use boxing. But to roll it all together, as Justin has said many times, let Justin fight Terrence Crawford in the street. Let Justin fight the best boxers on the planet, and Justin will beat all of them. It won't even be close. So what's the truth? If you're calling yourself a fighter, MMA is the truth. So that's my take on that entire beef.
To add to that, like when boxers come into Extreme Couture and they come to sparring, and they're there to box. 90% of the time, the first thing they say is, "Hey, don't kick me."
Yeah.
I'm not joking, and they're serious. Like, hey, don't kick my legs, man. I need my footwork. Like, kick somebody, you kick a boxer in the calf. I mean, boxers, and they're super athletic. Don't get me wrong, they're super athletes. Great. I mean, their reaction time is just incredible, and their footwork is off the charts. But at the end of the day, it's more of a dance than an actual fight, because you're dancing around your opponent. You don't dance around your opponent in MMA. You're going to get kicked in the fucking mouth. You're going to get kicked in the leg if you catch yourself dancing or backpedaling around your opponent like they do in boxing.
Yeah, and the bobbing and weaving, you're going to catch a knee to the face. You try to duck under like the shots that
I grew up on a boxing gym. I learned my striking. I started off in boxing. And I can't tell you how many times to where like I'll go to slip a cross and look to go to the body, and then
I think we lost. Justin, we lost you. Are you there?
Oh, how about now?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Can you see me?
No, your screen's frozen.
Yeah,
try.
I can't talk.
Try.
I'll exit.
Yeah, try logging off and logging back on. I'm going to read through some more comments while Justin rejoins. Tehran said Stipe is 43. He'll be 44 in August. And then we've got Mr. Clapper said, what's up, everybody? Justin has been done with Jones. Yeah, he has. I don't blame him. Jones and McGregor are in the same boat. God, why am I just the only one that wants to see John Jones versus Alex Pereira? But I think it's lit. And I've been saying this from the get-go that that's the fight that they're going to make on the White House card. So if it does make it, I will be nicely vindicated. That's cool. But Tehran says Jones' UFC debut was back in 2008. That's so crazy. Stipe took that fight with Jones for a check. Yeah, he may very well have. I don't know. Like, Justin makes some really good points about Stipe maybe not training to the max when he said he didn't want to take that fight. Like, I get that from the fighter perspective. Like, Justin knows better than me. But I don't know. I look at that fight. Stipe looked good to me. Everybody was clowning Stipe. I thought he looked good, me personally. And, Jones just got the better of him. But Yuri 578, welcome. What up, Clapper? LMAO Justin Western's cracking up at your rant, I think, on John Jones. Heavyweight is so crap. AA1367 says, yeah, I mean, look. I know people, there was, I think Luke Thomas or some other people made some conversations about the heavyweight division being like, maybe the UFC should get rid of it. It's like, dude, stop it. Like, they're not getting rid of the heavyweight division. Yeah, you can't get rid of the heavyweight division, regardless of what you want to say. Maybe it's in a little bit of a lull right now, but the heavyweight division, that people love to see the heavyweights get up there and bang, and it's gonna come back. And we got Gable Steveson coming back. Yeah, I mean, Gable Steveson entering the UFC very shortly. Oh, yeah. Just as I said that, AA1367A1 says they need to sign Gable Steveson. It's happening. Gable's fighting next Thursday in the Mexican Fighting League, so less than a week, which I cannot wait for. He's going to smash his opponent. Just watch. I'm even toying with the idea of going down there. He's going to smash his opponent. They will get Gable in. Gable will save this heavyweight division. Mark my words. Now, Justin, what were you saying? You were saying about sparring and when you were boxing in the boxing gym, what was happening? Like when you go
just when boxers come in.
Oh, your audio's jacked. Your audio's jacked.
I think my phone's over here.
Yeah, try it. Try coming back one more time. It's all crackly. All right, we'll read through some other comments here. Ilya versus Islam at 155 and 170 and 163 catchweight. Who wins? Islam in all three. Islam will smash Ilya Topuria. I don't understand why people want to see this fight so badly. I think even at 155, Islam would have smashed him from the get-go. But yeah, 170, no way. 163 catchweight, which they're not going to do. No way. Ilya will get smashed. And on top of that, Ilya moving up to welterweight is ridiculous because, yeah, maybe you could say, oh, well, he was going to fight Islam anyway, so he's still fighting the same guy. Just imagine Ilya Topuria fighting Ian Garry. Ilya is maybe, I know he's listed at like 5'7" or 5'8". He's probably 5'6" or 5'5". He is so short. Like, it would look ridiculous. It would literally be a giant versus like you know what I mean? Like a regular person. It would not make sense. So Ilya moving up to welterweight to me is a farce. I think Islam will smash him. I think if he's stuck around in welterweight, he will get annihilated by the likes of Ian Garry. If Shavkat was around, Shavkat would annihilate him. I think what's that other dude's name who just beat Sean Brady? I'm blanking on his name, Big Dog. But yeah, he would tower over him. So yeah, to me, Ilya moving up to welterweight is a farce. Justin, I feel like your audio's still jacked. Can you try and talk? Yeah, it's completely jacked. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to take you off. Try one more time or see if there's any other device you might have. But yeah. Okay. So we also have Tehran says heavyweight hasn't been a good division since 2011 during the Brock Lesnar, Randy Couture days. Mr. Clapper said, I mean, what about Francis, though, Tehran? What about when Francis was in the mix and he was rocking people, and then Francis and Stipe and DC was in there? I mean, I don't know. I think it was still pretty lit at that point. I'd like to see Jones versus Alex, but I don't know if it will happen. Dude, I want to see that fight. I know Justin kind of rained on my parade a little bit, but I still want to see that fight big time. Raheem says, at 155, Ilya would have not. You think? You really think that? He would have knocked Islam out? Why, though? When is Islam? Islam's been whatever, finished once or not, you know what I mean? Way back in the day. I don't see it, man. I see Islam. Islam's got pretty good kickboxing too. He just wouldn't get it. You just don't play the boxing game with him and go and take him down and do his thing. I mean, I don't know, Raheem. Tell me more. Why do you think he would knock him out? I don't buy it. Islam has fought against slick boxers. Topuria is too small. Yeah, way too small for welterweight. It's a joke. It's literally a joke. It's a farce. Yeah, I've never really had interest in Islam versus Ilya. John Dong says, "What's up, John Dong? Welcome to the show." Yeah, same. I think it's ridiculous, and I think Ilya smashes him. Ilya Topuria has good power, but at 170, he is way too small. Will beat him. Islam will beat him and become 100%. I mean, yeah, we're all saying the same thing. I would so much rather see. Well, first of all, I would have rather saw Islam versus JDM. I said from the get-go that's a more difficult fight by far for Islam than Ilya, and he absolutely smashed JDM. JDM had more power, I'm not going to say better boxing, but definitely had more power than Ilya would, and Islam completely dominated. Maybe Ilya is better than JDM on the ground. I mean, that's, Ilya grew up grappling and doing jiu-jitsu, so perhaps, but I still think the levels are going to be different. Look what Islam did to Charles Oliveira. It's going to be a joke. At 170, he would get beat down. He's a small guy. Yes, I literally think he's 5'5". I think the height that's listed is wrong. Who would you pick between Ilya versus Arman all day? Easy. Arman, I think, would smash Ilya. I think also Arman's going to be stronger. And I think he's going to be bigger. He's going to have the height advantage. Arman is a phenomenal striker. If you watched his fight against Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker is known to be one of the best strikers, and maybe he's a little older now, you could say, but he's known to be one of the best strikers in the lightweight division. And when you watch him versus Arman to me looked like the better striker. He was better. He was faster. He was more powerful. I thought he had more interesting strikes that he threw as well that made more sense in the flow of the fight. So I think Arman's the best lightweight fighter right now. Islam beats Topuria in both weight classes. 100%. Tirana, 100% agree. Islam would embarrass Topuria. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be an embarrassment considering how dominant Ilya has looked. Yeah, why does Ilya even want that fight? But maybe he really believes he can do something, but I just don't get it. Ilya went to a decision with Josh Emmett. Fair. It's always tough, though, to compare fight to fight. You know, that MMA math is a little tricky. Plus, who knows what if Ilya had something going on at that, but you never know, right? But I just think that Islam, if you just look at the skills that Islam brings, and on top of that, the level that Islam's at, what he's done already, how well he did against JDM, he annihilated JDM. I just think it's Islam all day. Mr. Clapper says, I think Arman beats Ilya. What does everybody think? Yeah, Arman, easy. It's an easy fight to predict. I think JDM smokes Ilya Topuria. Probably, actually. Probably. That's a great question nobody's ever asked. Yeah, you're right. Dude, JDM is huge. Again, same thing. Ilya would be like so tiny compared to JDM. Yeah. UFC knows Arman beats Topuria. Yeah, probably. But the cool thing is Arman's becoming such a big star on his own now with all the social media stuff he's doing. Like, they might want to make that fight now. I wouldn't be surprised. What I think is going to happen is if Max does beat Oliveira, which I actually am leaning towards Oliveira winning, but let's say Max does beat Oliveira, I think they're going to do Arman Sarukian versus Max Holloway. I think now the UFC is going to stop sidelining Arman because I think that there's going to be too much backlash if he doesn't get in there soon. So I think they'll set that fight up, maybe even be on the same card as Ilya versus Gaethje. Maybe it'll be on the White House card. I don't know, but or right around that time. And then Arman will he'll beat Max. Or I mean, that's why I don't know what they're going to do if Oliveira wins, but I think he'll beat Max and then he'll go on and he'll fight the winner of Gaethje versus Ilya, which likely seems to be Ilya. And then I think he smashes Ilya, which would be dope. Not that I dislike Ilya, by the way. It's just I love Arman Sarukian and I want him to be a champ. Arman's like become one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Arman is a beast. He smoked that dude in ref. Yeah, how amazing was that? That guy was an Olympian wrestler, and Arman just handled him. Arman is so good, dude. He's unbelievable. Topuria can only beat strikers. He can't beat grapplers. Okay, I know you might not call Bryce Mitchell like the greatest grappler ever, but he did beat Bryce Mitchell. You got to think about other fights that he's had. I mean, that's been the theme of late. Well, Volkanovski is a very well-rounded fighter. I wouldn't call him a grappler or a striker necessarily. He mixes it up beautifully. So he beat Volkanovski. You can't take that away from him. Arman beats Holloway. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I love Max, but Arman Sarukian, he's just too good. He's too well-rounded. Arman will beat Topuria if Arman was able to compete with Islam. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Well, that was a long time ago. Okay. But it is a fair point. Like, he did do really well against Islam on short notice, but that was when Arman was like 22 or something. So it was so long ago. And I mean, he's gotten so much better, and Islam's gotten so much better too. So it's a little bit of a funky comparison, but I get what you're saying. But he will beat Topuria. Mark my words. I believe in Ilya's grappling in a fight between him and Arman. Masvidal stated that Ilya was able to put Olympic wrestlers to sleep in training. Is that really? I didn't hear that. Okay. I mean, again, I know Ilya's got good grappling, but do we really think it's on the level of Arman Sarukian? He's doing what he did in RAF and everywhere else. Arman Sarukian's one of the best, I think, in the UFC in terms of wrestling and grappling. I don't know. Mr. Clapper agrees with Tehran. We got No Bromo MMA. What's up? Welcome to the show. Arman has won me over recently. Super funny guy. Dude, he's so funny. I said this in a video talking about star quality and why Arman is such a star. Sense of humor is so underrated. It's the same reason why Conor McGregor blew up to be what he is, and also the same reason why Ian Garry is having trouble connecting with people. Ian Garry's got that bravado, that super overbearing confidence, but it gets annoying unless you spice it up with some jokes, with some humor. That's the difference between, and like Ian Garry is probably a more talented fighter than Conor. Maybe Conor had some more exciting finishes and fights. I don't know. You could say that, but I think ultimately Ian Garry doesn't have that sense of humor. And that's kind of one of the reasons why people are so turned off by Ian. They find him annoying versus Connor, because he's so witty and so funny, he maybe could get a little annoying too for some people, I guess. But that sense of humor just saves him, man. That wit is incredible. And Arman's got that, dude. He is so freaking funny. And his sense of humor is different than Connor's. It's very deadpan sense of humor. But yeah, it's now that people are seeing it, they're becoming big fans. I think Toporia's brother Alexander is a more technical boxer styled fighter. We're going to see him fight Bryce Mitchell. That's a lit fight. I haven't even made a video about that, but that's a lit fight. I believe no one at 145 and 155 can beat Ilya, but Arman, only one has a chance. Yeah. Okay, so you still think Ilya beats Arman? Fair enough. No Bromo. Thoughts on Josh Hokett? He can save the dull heavyweight division. Well, Justin was having some phone difficulties, but if you missed my co-host on the show, Justin, earlier, yeah, he loves Josh Hokett. I'm not like me personally. I'm not the biggest fan of that shtick of the whole wrestling thing and how he's just says off the cuff things. Like, it's just not my style. I like the sincerity. I like the real guys. Like Arman Sarukian is that guy. Like he's just being himself and he's so funny naturally. So Josh Hokett is trying to do something different and I get it. And it's worthwhile. I'll put it like that. Like I would be interested in seeing him fight, but I'm not chomping at the bit to see him fight. Not like Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson is the real guy who's going to save the heavyweight division. Gable Steveson is going to make the heavyweight division arguably one of the most exciting divisions of all time because he is going to smash people. You're going to see the level of athleticism and skill that he's going to bring that's going to be like nobody else. I would almost think that I think he can be champ in 2026. I really do, if he's given the right opportunities, because I think he's going to be smashing opponents so handily, like it's going to be out of control. And we got Justin back in the mix. Okay, so Justin, somebody new to the show, No Bromo MMA, was just asking about Josh Hokett and can he save the dull heavyweight division? I said and by the way, guys, if you guys could like the stream, we got a nice size of people on right now, so thank you so much for joining. But let's hear Justin. Justin, give us your thoughts on Josh Hokett. Can he save the heavyweight division? Justin's trying to get his mic set up there. So we're going to answer your question, No Bromo, in 1 second. No Bromo says, yes, Josh Hokett, he's my guy. Well, Justin's the one that's going to talk to you about that, and he loves Josh Hokett. Gable versus Hokett. I mean, I think it's cool. I think Gable will absolutely smash Josh Hokett in the first fight. I think it'd be fun. Yeah, why not? I think they should probably put Gable against somebody a bit lower ranked in his first fight, but I mean, I think he would. I'm not saying he needs to be put against a lower ranked fighter or somebody who with less experience, but I think that's what they will do. But yeah, it would be fun. Rizvan Kuniev. I'm not as familiar with Rizvan Kuniev, so I can't answer this, but thank you for the question. I'm going to look him up and I'll check him out after the show. MGal4 Productions is back in the mix. What's up? What's up? And Tehran says Gabe Stevenson can save the heavyweight division. They're gonna sign him. He's already been talking to Hunter Campbell. He's already been talking to Dana White. They went to his fight at Dirty Boxing. They were there in the audience. So, dude, like it's happening. I bet you they already offered to sign him. But John Jones in a recent video said that the reason why what Gable's doing right now is he's working on his fight style and his skills outside of the UFC because he wants him to still level up before he finally brings him into the UFC. So they're trying to get him to a particular point outside of the UFC, and then they'll bring him in. So I guarantee you the UFC's probably already made an offer and he's waiting. That's why he's taking this fight in the Mexican Fighting League. I think he's going to smash his opponent and then he's going to come into the UFC. I wouldn't be shocked if Gable Steveson has a fight even before. It's probably not going to happen, but I wouldn't even be shocked if he would be, let's say this, he would be ready to fight in April if they wanted him to. But I think they're going to save him and hold and just be certain that he can be on the UFC White House card. That's what I think is going to happen. Justin, is your audio working?
Good to go.
Okay, go ahead. So No Bromo says, what do you think of Josh Hokett? So go ahead and let him know what you think.
Dude, I'm a huge WWE fan, man. I actually got into wrestling and MMA because I thought middle school wrestling, when they said, oh, hey, we have wrestling class, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go. And I remember thinking I was going to be jumping off the turnbuckle and smashing beers together. And that's what I love about Josh Hokett. He's playing this character full. I've done a bunch of research. I got a lot of people say he's a great guy. He's just a funny guy. But this character he's taken on, and where he'll change his accent mid-interview. And I know it's stupid and I know it's goofy, but it's just when you smoke a blunt and listen to this guy. It's seriously the funniest shit. He wears these big sunglasses, his do-rag. He's playing a character. And this guy can fight. He's 8-0, 5 knockouts, 3 submission finishes. This is a great salesman for the heavyweight division. And we're unsure. And he has great cardio too. That's another thing. This guy is a former professional football player. And, I think a lot of these guys in the lower level football that aren't making that, maybe their third string, that they're still super athletes. I mean, between the first string and the third string, that they're pretty close. They're not, they're pretty fucking close. And go ahead.
Oh, that's what I was just going to bring that up about him having the NFL experience, because I know you always champion that as like a big indicator that they're going to be super athletes. So yeah, just another thing in favor.
Could they fizzle out? You look at Greg Hardy, who was an incredible NFL player. He was, I don't know if he was the MVP, but he played. He played in the All-Star game, several seasons in a row. He transitioned, big, strong, but just unfortunately didn't have any chin. And if you can get somebody like Josh Hockett, who not only has that athleticism, but has the toughness to back it up, you got a serious problem. Now you got a guy that every time this guy does an interview, I'm tuning in because I just want to see how cringy this is going to be. It's just like Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is a super nice guy. I've met him a bunch. Trained with him. He's been nothing but respectful to me. But when he does this cringe character, it's just must-see TV. And I think Josh Hockett's must-see TV right now.
So the difference, I believe, too, with Greg Hardy, I'm just looking at his record right now. He got onto Dana White's, because he's 37. He got onto Dana White's Contender Series back in 2008. So that was 8 years ago. So he had his debut fight in mixed martial, or at least debut for the UFC at the age of 29. Josh Hockett right now is only 28. So he's a lot younger, and he's already doing amazing things. As you mentioned, I think he's undefeated, right? He's 8-0.
8-0, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions.
Yeah, all finishes. So Josh Hockett definitely can bring some light to this division. Yeah, but dude, people are so overreacting about the heavyweight division needing to be scrapped. Like when Luke Thomas made that video, I'm like, dude, come on. You're just being negative for no reason. They're obviously not going to scrap it. And yeah, there's a couple things that are maybe not going great, but we've got some very interesting leads. And like we all are agreeing with, Gable Steveson is huge. He might be, and I think Justin will probably say is the greatest MMA prospect of all time. And that's even me saying that above, I'm the biggest Khamzat Chimaev fan of all time. I'm probably, I think Gable Steveson is more of a freak athlete, and he's in the heavyweight division. Dude, it's so exciting. Imagine Gable. I want to see Gable just fight everybody. He'll never fight John Jones, obviously, but I want to see him fight like Cyril Gane. Let's see him fight Tom Aspinall. Let's see him fight Francis Ngannou. Let's just see him fight all these legends of the sport and just see what he can do. It's so fun. No Broma, by the way, response to you says Josh Hockett is keeping kayfabe alive for real. Let's go. Tehran also says, we've just been riffing off the comments, by the way. So a lot of people have been commenting. So you haven't even gotten to the next topic. Josh Hockett reminds me of WWE wrestling, of course. Reminds him of Randy Savage. MGAL4 Productions says Gable is GOAT. Tehran says, I wish UFC would get rid of the women. Really? Get rid of them? But I'll admit that the female fights are not usually always the thing that I'm most excited about. But I don't agree, man. You have Kayla Harrison is must-see TV. Natalia Silva, okay, maybe the last fight wasn't the greatest, but Natalia Silva is really fun to watch. I like watching Rose Namajunas. I want to see Amanda Nunes. There's certain fight, and then now we got Smila Sundell might be coming into the UFC at some point. We've got obviously Dakota Ditcheva, there's exciting fights in women's MMA, in my opinion. So I don't know if I agree. Justin, what are your thoughts?
I don't think you should get rid of it because there's a lot of great women athlete out there, but I don't think it's the most exciting division for sure.
It's not, and I'll agree with that. It's the same reason why the UFC didn't want Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes at the top of the bill for UFC 324. It's because ultimately, especially for people that are less dialed into the sport, but even for us, the male fights generally are more inclined to have finishes. They're a little bit more exciting, and they'll maybe throw caution to the wind on average. I'm not saying overall, but that I think tends to be what we see more often than not in female fights versus male fights. But then, of course, you have people like Kayla Harrison, who's must-see TV, who's so exciting. I'd rather watch Kayla Harrison fight than a lot of other fighters in the male division. So Kayla Harrison is unbelievable. But yeah, Mr. Clapper says Gable is a bad dude, and John Dong says I want to see Gable versus Walter Walker. Actually, not familiar with Walter Walker, but that could be an interesting matchup depending on where he's ranked. Okay, let's get to some of these topics. Now, topic number one, I feel like we've covered this through and through, is the UFC heavyweight division in shambles, just by virtue of our conversation with Tom Aspinall and John Jones and Alex Pereira and all that stuff. So we're going to move on from that. But Dana White, speaking of the White House card, speaking of John Jones versus Alex Pereira, speaking of all of this, Dana White says He's going to have the UFC White House fights finalized this weekend, which is crazy. And so it's interesting that we're having all these talks of Tom Aspinall vacating or being asked to vacate, and now maybe being removed from the UFC altogether, culminating around this timing. Because if this is indeed true, and I believe this is legitimate, this is a legitimate statement from Dana White, then this might just very well line up. Now, we still haven't heard anything. Like, what do you think? If they do have Jones, let's just play make-believe. If they do have Jones versus Pereira, if they are going to have Ilya versus Gaethje, right there, those are two massive fights. Where the hell, assuming this is what happens, where the hell is Conor going to fit in? And who is Conor even going to fight at this point?
You know who I want to see him fight? There's only one guy that I want to see him fight, and that's Nate Diaz. There's no other matchup that I really care about. I don't think the John Jones fight is going to happen.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I just don't have a feeling about it. And like I said, that fight could fizzle. You know, that's not a guaranteed action fight. I mean, they might have a lot of respect for each other and be boring, man. Put the fight in the main event that deserves to be there. That's going to be 100% action. Ilya Topuria, Justin Gaethje.
It will be 100% action. I mean, that is true.
Now, can you imagine having that? If you think from a business standpoint, having this guaranteed knockout, drag them out, someone's getting knocked out fight, and then have a heavyweight fight that might fizzle out. Like, there might be a lot of people. There's been times in the third round that I've seen, like when Hamzat in the third round, I just got up and walked away, went in my room and started playing Xbox. Like, I couldn't care less to watch that fight anymore.
Well, I suppose I think the issue, if it wasn't tied into the 250th celebration of the U.S., then I think it might be an easier decision. Well, though John wouldn't probably even agree to be the co-main. But I think the thing is here, the problem is that Ilya is going to be so heavily favored to win. So I don't know if they want to end on that, but this is kind of perfect because Jones is going to be favored to win against Alex Pereira. And even if he does lose, people will be so happy for Alex that I think it won't be a big deal. But Jones is favored to win, and we could end on this like amazing culmination. I get what you're saying with John's tricky past and things like that, but from the standpoint of I think what the president would want and so on and so forth, I think that ultimately it does make sense. I said this from the get-go. I said Trump is going to have his say. He's going to come in and almost like not demand, but be like, dude, guys, John Jones, he's American. He's the greatest of all time. You got to do it. Like, we have to do this. It's for the and eventually whatever Dana was saying, it was going to go to the wayside. But that's what I think. So we shall see. Maybe Conor will still be on there. Imagine though, if we did have Conor, like, what if they convinced Conor to be the third fight? Like, we'd have Conor. Imagine this: Conor versus whoever. If you want it to be Nate, I still don't think they'll do Nate Diaz because he lost to Jake Paul, and I think they won't want to have that as a look for like the biggest card of all time. But let's say they do Conor versus whoever. Then they do Ilya versus Gaethje as the co-main. Holy smokes, absolute amazing banger. And then we end with John Jones versus Alex Pereira. Like, just those three fights, that's all they need, those three fights alone, and that would be a sick event. But that's in my opinion. Western says, how do you not know Walter Walker? Do you know Walter Walker?
Never heard of him.
Oh, no, we're casuals. We've been outed. Okay, Western, we're going to look it up right after this. Johnny Walker's brother? What? Wait, does he train at Extreme with you guys?
I don't know. I just saw Johnny this morning, or it was yesterday morning. I didn't see him with anybody.
Oh, I've heard about this guy who's been getting the heel hooks. Wait a minute. Walter Walker. Wait, I got to see this guy. Holy smokes. Is this actually Johnny Walker's? He looks nothing like Johnny Walker. He's only 28 and he is Brazilian. Okay, hold on. Whoa, I got to make a video about this guy. Okay, let's take a look at his record here real quick, Justin. We need to get informed. Apparently, I feel like such a casual right now. So he's won his last 4 fights. So I guess he lost his debut fight in the UFC, and then he beat Junior Toffa. Okay, submission, heel hook. Oh my God, 4 heel hooks back to back. What? Yo, that's lit. Okay, I would have to make a video about this guy, the heel hook monster. Western is out. Apparently, he's gonna quit the channel because he says we're casuals. No, dude, that's so bad that I did not know about them. How did I not hear about? Dude, I do feel like an idiot. All right, well, thank you, Western, for letting us know. But there we go. That's another person that's saving the heavyweight division. Heavyweight division's fine. You people are fools who are saying we should get rid of it. Now, let's talk about what's going down. Even the dog was surprised. John Dog said, that's right. Okay, so now let's go on to topic number 4. Islam versus Ian Garry next. So this, I think, is so good, too good. This has to happen. Ian Garry is saying that he's back in training camp, teasing that he's back in training camp. And now it could be Ian Garry against somebody else, because we know Ian Garry's game to fight anybody, right? He'll fight whoever. He took on Carlos Prates when he didn't need to. He took on Shavkat on short notice. Ian Garry, for whatever you want to say about his cringe or this and that, he's a warrior through and through. But I think that he's going to be the one to fight Islam. I don't think it's going to be Islam versus Ilya, or at least I hope not. So I think it's going to be, because who else is Ian Garry going to fight? It wouldn't make sense unless I guess he could fight, what's his name? The big dude, I'm blanking on his name, who just beat Sean Brady, maybe. But I think it's going to be Ian Garry versus Islam. Justin, what's your takeaway? Do you think this is going to be the fight next? And do you want this to be the next fight?
Yeah, I think Ian Garry's earned it. You know, he's stepped up time and time again. He's fought the who's who. He's not trying to duck opponents. He's going fight after fight. I think he's more than deserving. You know, Shavkat's out with an injury. It sounds, I've heard of an 8-month layoff, or 8 to a 9-month layoff for him, maybe longer. Man, I mean, that's really the only guy I think that's the only guy that's beat Ian Garry. So why should anybody else deserve it more than him?
100%. And it's such an interesting fight. Like, Ian wants it. He's ready to go. He wants to step up to the challenge. And he's a smart fighter. I want to see what type of game plan he can put together. And I think it'd be a great win for Islam too. A great win, for Islam, if he can beat Ian Garry. It's a much bigger guy, taller guy, interesting strikes, a lot of oblique kicks to the knees, which are so devastating and so scary. But I think it'd be a fun fight. I think Islam would get the victory. I think he will beat Ian Garry, but it's a fun fight. And also, we got the return of Dagestan versus Ireland. Like, come on, it's a cool little matchup. And by the way, the fighter I was trying to think of, his name is Michael Morales. Why am I blanking on people's names today like that? But yeah, there you go. I'm on the UFC page. I just wanted to see if they actually did somehow remove Tom Aspinall, but no, Tom Aspinall's still in there. Okay, because I thought maybe he was already gone, if that would be an indicator, but no, he's still in there. All right, we are on the final topic, guys. We're going to end on this. A fun video for all of you guys, and for Justin especially. Have you seen this, Justin?
No, I haven't.
So Merab is changing careers. No, it's just a joke, but he wants to become a jacuzzi salesman, apparently. And we're going to check that out right now. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay, I found it. This is so funny, dude. Okay, here we go. Dude, Merab's a legend. Okay, one second. Here we go.
Hey guys, I'm back, but as you see in jacuzzi store, since I don't have a fight, now I'm selling jacuzzis. I'm a jacuzzi salesman. Today, I have a special offer for Peter Yan. I want you to recover, so I will send you this jacuzzi for free. This way, we will have our trilogy fight soon as possible. Peter, I know you like to be relaxed, but I like to be busy. So I want my belt back because this job sucks. So take this jacuzzi, invite your boys, invite your ladies, and if you're Peterian and live in Thailand, invite your lady boys, Peter. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm back.
I didn't hear that last part before. That was pretty funny at the end. All right, what do you think? How's Merab going to do as a jacuzzi salesman?
He has me sold. I'm going to call him up right now. Shit.
Oh my God. It just made me remember too. We still have the Piotr Yan, Merab or Piotr Yan versus Sean O'Malley. Dude, what's going to happen on this White House card? We don't know. We shall see. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining on this Friday. We had a blast. What a great show today. Really, really fun. And thank you for all the engagement. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the likes. We really appreciate it. It's you guys that make this community awesome and make this community fun and make this such a blast for us to do the show. Western says Piotr styled on Merab. We'll see if Merab can get it back. You know, Merab was really fighting a lot of fights back to back. You never know. He might be able to come back and get the win. So we shall see. But that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you in the next video. Take it easy.